Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So some news I definitely want to go over that I missed late in the day yesterday after I put out a video yesterday because I was very busy in the afternoon. So I want to go over a few more things and make it into put everything into one video. Eagles have worked out 7 players. There's some news on a couple of guys. I'm kind of interested to see what they can do in camp with the rest of the competition at certain position groups. Some news on Jordan Davis and a few other things that have happened for the Eagles officially. And I kind of want to go over all that. So sit tight. Let's get straight into it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
I hope everyone's enjoying their work week, guys, because before we get into the second day of training camp, which obviously will be the next video, this news is from yesterday. A few things that did happen. Definitely want to go over some of it here, and I think some of it's very interesting because, you know, we're ready to unveil this roster, what it's going to look like, you know, what the competition is going to look like down the road. But I want to go over the small things first, or maybe not really the small things, but the things that I think are pretty important, but, you know, we can quickly talk about them. One is officially the Dennis Kelly signing is official, 1-year deal. Dennis Kelly was with the Eagles from 2012 to 2015. You know, can play left tackle, right tackle, and can play guard as well. So I think this is the most, this is one of the most versatile offensive line, depth offensive linemen you have. Cam Durgan's going to play center guard very well. I know he's going to play guard very well this year. I think he will start in front of tylersteen. And regardless, even if he doesn't, I hope tylersteen can get the job too, because I think tylersteen can play left tackle very well, could play right tackle, and has the physicality to play guard. Josh Driscoll could play right guard and right tackle. He plays as a better right guard than the right tackle anymore. Used to play as a better right tackle. But it looks like, you know, obviously to make room for Dennis Kelly, they had to let go of Matt Leo, but it looks like he retired. He's on the reserve retired list. So I'm guessing maybe he already announced his retirement or something like that. So I guess to make room, I guess that was something really easy the Eagles could have done right there. So Dennis Kelly, welcome to the Philadelphia Eagles. It is officially official. Number 2, I want to go over Jordan Davis. He looks shredded. He looks fantastic. Look at the 2 pictures. I mean, look at on the left. This was last year, his rookie year. And then, obviously, look how shredded he is now. In a lot more shape. Remember when Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith came to the building and that picture of him between both of them? He definitely looked like he slimmed down a lot. And what I said about Jordan Davis in the draft when we did draft him was they really have to maintain his weight. That's going to be the most important thing here. Okay, they have to make sure, like that, like I said, like if he doesn't maintain his weight, he's going to lose a lot of explosiveness, and his body is going to go to waste in the NFL. And that's the way, you know, that's what I hope is not going to happen. Now, Jordan Davis had a pretty good year last year before he had the high ankle sprain, because he was a top 13 defensive tackle against the run. And then once he got hurt, you know, that's when they signed Linval, and then they signed Dominican Sue, and you know, then he came back, and we had a lot of depth at defensive tackle at that time when he definitely came back. But it's really nice, you know what I mean? I think when it comes down to who is the most important player on your defense, who is the most important player, I think it's Jordan Davis, because he commands the double teams up front. It starts with the defensive line up front, obviously, but he commands those double teams and makes everybody successful around him. So he really has to have a strong second year, because if he doesn't have a strong second year or he gets hurt, then it's going to be a big problem. You know what I mean? It's going to be a big problem down the road. So I feel really good about him. No issues with him whatsoever. But, you know, he's got to be in the late 220s to early 230s in his weight at least. I mean, that's what I'm kind of thinking right now. But it's, you know, nice to see. Can't wait to see, you know, if he looks more explosive and what he does, and how this defensive line is going to pan out with the depth chart and all that great stuff. Who's going to be lining up next to him? That's going to be the big question, whether it's Fletch or it's going to be Jalen Carter. And I feel like it's going to be Jalen Carter. So I'm very excited about that. Now, the Eagles have worked out 7 players, okay? This from the other day, and I didn't get the other names until like late last night. So they worked out one linebacker. Okay, just one linebacker. Marcus Allen. They have tackle Quentin Barrow, wide receiver Deion Kane, wide receiver Nkeal Harry. That's an interesting one. Wide receiver Javonta Payton, a journeyman. Safety DeAndre Houston Carson, and center Ochofitu Maka. I'm bad with names, okay? I understand that. So those are your 7 players. So the 2 from this list I definitely want to go over here, okay? Number 1 is definitely Nkeal Harry. The Eagles just keep bringing in receivers nonstop. And before I get into Nkeal Harry, look what the Eagles, look at the size preference. Pause. Look at the size preference that they've tried to get a receiver in here. Joseph Ngata from Clemson, the undrafted free agent they paid all that money to. He's what, 6'2", 6'3", 230 something? Nkeal Harry is 6'2", 228. Deion Kane is 6'2", 203. You know what I mean? Like, they've been bringing in these bigger receivers. Do they need a backup receiver for A.J. Brown? I don't know what they're trying to look for here. It looks like they're trying to find another type of big receiver for depth. I mean, that's what I'm kind of looking at right now. Now, Nkeal Harry is an interesting one because really when he was drafted, the last pick in the first round in 2019, and now hasn't really lived up to the hype of a first-round pick. 154 yards from scrimmage his first year. His best year was really 2020 with 300 yards. But I like his, I think he can contest balls really well. I just think he really needs to go to a good team around him and maybe a team that can revive his career a little bit. The more receivers, the merrier, because I'm already interested to see this Quez Watkins, Alamati Zaccheaus situation going on in Philadelphia at wide receiver 3. But to go into the rest of it, okay, which is interesting, okay, so he was traded to the Bears last year. Okay, he was traded to the Bears last year on the last year of his deal. Okay, and statistically, it still wasn't good. He had a high ankle sprain in August last year. Last August, he had a high ankle sprain. He was out, 4 to 5 games, something like that. That's what I read, that he had an injury last year, and that was the injury. He had He was in 9 games for 9 catches, 116 yards, okay? I guess, it's just another receiver in a group of many other receivers, players that Jalen Hurts has played with back in college, Jaden Hazelwood, Charleston Rambo, a bunch of guys that he's played with, and and he's never played with obviously Nkeal Harry, but this is just another player the Eagles are going to work out and see if they sign him to training camp to see what happens here. You know what I mean? If they sign him and he gets to camp, then great. You know what I mean? Then I feel like there's going to be a nice competition at wide receiver here, and maybe with some of these receivers too, which will help in special teams and other different things. Whether obviously these guys aren't going to start, but for depth purposes, I mean, kind of like a Greedy Williams situation at cornerback. Like, I think the Eagles can really revive his career a little bit and put him in a really good situation, and I really hope that does happen. And I think Nkeal Harry could be almost the same thing. You know what I mean? But he's got to stay healthy. That's the number one thing, and that's something the Eagles have no control over. He's got to take care of himself. And this is just a failed first rounder that is really trying to find his way onto a roster and trying to make some noise. So that's going to be, I think this would be a big one to sign to your roster and add more competition. And obviously, Nkeal Harry has a lot of experience as a starter, and for his few years already. So the Eagles worked him out. Hasn't signed yet, but let me know what you guys think. I think that's a pretty interesting one going down the road. Now, another one here is DeAndre Houston Carson, the safety from the Chicago Bears. Now, he was a 6th-round pick in 2016. He is 30 years old, so you're getting a big-time veteran here. Well, I'm not saying big-time as in he's really good, but Sean Desai probably knows this guy because he was with the Bears for a few years until he became the defensive coordinator in 2021. He was the defensive quality control guy next to Vic Fangio for a few years, I think 3 to 4 years before he became the defensive coordinator in 21, so probably knows his player like the back of his hand. This guy brings, very good special teamer, so for special teams in general, he's very good tackler, but he started, I think, every single game last year. He had 2 tackles for loss, he had 1 pick, he had a forced fumble, and a pass deflected last year, so not too bad, you know what I mean? So, I don't know if there's injuries or there's anything like that, but he's the past 3 years for DeAndre Houston Carson, okay, the past 3 years he has signed 1-year consecutive deals, 1-year deal, 1-year deal, 1-year deal the past 3 years. So safety is just loaded right now. I mean, it's just loaded with Terrell Edmonds, Reed Blankenship, And God knows if they're going to cross-train anybody at that position. You know, Kevon Wallace, Justin Evans, that was a second-round pick in 2017, has really been hurt every single year of his career. He's another vet that can play nickel and safety. You know, it's loaded right now, loaded. So I think they're doing a wait-and-see approach with the safety room to see what it looks like. Obviously, Sidney Brown is going to be involved in this too, and we had a first look at him in his Eagles gear, which he looks fantastic. This guy is ripped, man. Like, no joke. But DeAndre Houston Carson is just a savvy vet that could solidify special teams for you, make some good tackles, and potentially could be thrown into a game if you really need him to. And Sean Desai definitely 100% knows this guy because he was around. He was around probably when he was drafted, to be honest, because that was about the time he was a defensive quality control guy for Vic Fangio for those few years. So that's pretty interesting too. But that's the news on DeAndre Houston Carson. Besides all of that, anybody else on this list, have no idea. You know, there's a linebacker out there, Marcus Allen. I have no idea, and a few other guys. You know, they're trying out some offensive linemen. They added another center to the, you know, another offensive lineman, which, you know, God knows if he's going to make the team. Because I feel like if Kelsey is going to play this year, and if Cam is going to start at right guard, there's going to be a big decision they have to make here, because maybe that now they need to find a backup center. You know, God forbid, you know, knock on wood, Kelsey goes down. What's going to happen here? So I think this is a pretty strong list. Deion Kane is definitely in there. Nkeal Harry is definitely an eye-opener to see what the Eagles want to do with him. Javonte Payton's a nice journeyman type guy that can play special teams and has some burner athleticism. And DeAndre Houston Carson has been in a Sean Desai, Vic Fangio defense. You know what I mean? So, and has known him probably for a long time, and probably he was the main reason why he's here right now. A 30-year-old safety coming in, and there's nothing wrong with adding some veteran, you know, guys that are, you know, at the end of their career or at the, you know, the edge of their career a little bit, and just trying to look for a team, you know, to compete, you know. So I think this is a good list. I think this is great. You know, still a lot to do. I mean, we're only through the first day of training camp so far, and we're about to get into the second day. But let me know what you guys think about, obviously, Jordan Davis, how great he looks, and does he look like he lost a lot of weight? Do you think he's going to have a very big, strong second year? What's your favorite players from the workout list, the 7 players I just talked about? You know, do you think Nkeal Harry could do something here? Do you think that he would be a nice depth piece? Do you think the Eagles can revive him a little bit? And DeAndre Houston Carson, you know, a veteran safety coming to the Eagles is not really a bad thing at all. And then want to know what you guys think about that as well. So that is all to talk about today, and I will see you guys on the next video of Eagles training camp. You guys have a fantastic day, and if you last this long, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you like the video as well. I'll cover the Eagles every single day. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys later. Shakes, what up? Follows up. Peace out, guys. Peace.